It's about people, performance, and purpose.
We are urging all nations to recognize the inherent right of the ocean.
Ocean governance concerns every one of us.
Take what you learned today with you. We have the tools, we have the technology.
Let's end the ocean emergency.
Mas nós fazemos parte desse ambiente.
Our life source comes from the ocean, our oxygen, our water, our food.
We need to protect this ocean.
Welcome to the Ocean Race Summit. Let's begin the second half of our day. So first of all, we have a fabulous second half of programming here at the Ocean Race Summit. We'll be speaking with experts in ocean health, industry, tech, and visionaries for the future of ocean rights. Our next segment is focused on the restoration of the ocean. Aside from implementing policies, it's very important that we also protect our marine resources. And we need to also simultaneously restore those marine resources as well. For example, ecosystems like seagrass beds, mangrove forests, and kelp forests. Now, in using a combination of science, circularity, and nature-based solutions, can we really expedite the healing of the ocean? That's the question we want to answer today. And this next video is a great example of how innovation and strategic collaboration between scientists, ocean advocates, and everyday people can contribute to the restoration of marine ecosystems that are considered powerful carbon sinks to capture blue carbon. It's truly refreshing to hear inspiring stories like Sea Trees. You may have seen my brief cameo in there. I personally also work with Sea Trees as well. The nonprofit is based in California, but they're a global program, and they're incredible. So I definitely encourage you to check out more of their work. Now, before we move on, some of our seats are empty up here toward the front because many of our sailors who were with us this morning, they're joining the Legends race in a bit, and they went to go prepare. So if you're in the back, feel free to come and fill up these seats. We'd love to have you up here. And then a temperature test in the room. I'd like to just try something. Just bear with me, okay? If I could get this side first to say ocean, and then this side over here to say rights. Can we do that? Can we coordinate? I think we can. It'll just build up a little energy. So when I say ocean, you guys say rights. So this side says ocean, rights. Ready? Ocean, rights. Ocean, rights. Ocean, rights. A little louder. Ocean, rights. One more time. Ocean. Rights. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. We just need a little zhuzh because we have a great panel coming up and we need your attention. So thank you for being such a wonderful audience so far. Next, we are going to jump into more efforts to restore the ocean here in the European Union. And so joining me on stage, please help me welcome Elisabetta Balsi, who is the head of unit at DG Research and Innovation. Welcome, Elisabetta. Please have a seat. Good to see you. Welcome. And our second panelist is Emanuela Rusciano. She's Science and Communications Coordinator at Ocean Ops. Welcome. Hi, Emanuela. Nice to see you. I saw you this morning. Good to see you. Excellent. All right. Well, let's jump into it. So earlier we heard a little bit from your colleague, Elisabetta, we heard from your colleague that spoke about how the EU mission is working, the program and all of that. And so you've brought with you a video for us to watch to learn a little bit more about the initiative. So let's take a look.
For centuries, lighthouses have been guiding sailors through storms to safety. Today, human-made changes are putting our ocean and waters at risk. Changing the way we treat this precious resource is not only about safeguarding our ocean and its biodiversity, it's about caring for all of us. Because all life on Earth depends on a healthy ocean and clean waters. The time to act is now. The EU is on a mission to restore and protect our ocean and waters by 2030. How will the mission drive this change? By setting up 4 mission lighthouses in the Mediterranean Sea, the Baltic and North Sea, the Danube River Basin, and the Atlantic Arctic Basin. The lighthouses will act as hubs that will develop, demonstrate, and deploy new solutions far and wide and guide us in our journey to restoring our ocean and waters. The mission Ocean and Waters will protect and restore aquatic ecosystems, prevent and eliminate pollution, and make the blue economy climate neutral and circular. Through this mission, we will achieve a healthy and pollution-free Mediterranean Sea a carbon-neutral and circular economy in the Baltic and North Sea, a more protected and restored Danube River, as well as restored Atlantic-Arctic ecosystems and biodiversity. Get on board to be part of this journey. Whether you're a representative from a member state or a region, a business owner or an investor, or a caring citizen, you can join us and contribute by co-designing, proposing and implementing activities, projects, campaigns and initiatives. Only by joining forces can we make our ocean and waters healthy again. For our communities, for all life on this planet, now and for future generations.
Fantastic. So, Elisabetta, the Ocean Race has endorsed the mission charter, and I'm just curious from you, what do you think the role is, the role that the Ocean Race can play, and how are we contributing to this very important EU mission?
Thank you very much, Dani. And I would like to congratulate the Ocean Race, because the Ocean Race, it's a model example of what we intend to do and how we intend to do, and how we intend to accomplish our mission. You are racing against time. The Ocean Race is racing against time to restore our ocean and waters. You are doing it in a way which is mobilizing multitudes, so involving all the citizens, inspiring the change, giving hope, and this is the very core of our mission. So I would like to say you contribute to different aspects of the mission. You contribute to science also, to science and innovation, because we have seen how your racing boats are also contributing to collecting data, which is also a very important part also of our mission. We're starting from science and innovation, but of course a main aspect of our mission is to mobilize, involve the citizens, which is done in a wonderful way through the Ocean Race. You're connecting to the policymakers, you're involving and engaging cities. We see here, leading by example, the city of Genova and many others. You're involving governments, you're involving international organizations, you're defending the ocean rights at global level. You're also connecting to the private sector. So this is, I would say, this is a very core, very soul and very the main scope of our mission, and also the methodology that we would like to use. And you're making our mission a reality. So we are very grateful for that. We are very proud that you belong to the mission, and we are looking forward to further support and amplify the efforts that you're so nicely showing with the Ocean Race.
Thank you very much for that acknowledgement. And I'm curious, can you tell us a little bit more about the timeline as well with the EU mission? Like, what does that timeline look like?
Yes, our mission has a very ambitious objective, as our mission manager said, to restore our ocean and waters by 2030. So this is really nearly impossible, but we also want to give a hope that we can make it by joining forces all together. So 2030 is very close. There are very ambitious targets, both for the protection, for the restoration, for fighting the pollution, reducing the pollution, and also making the blue economy circular and carbon neutral. But joining forces and what you're demonstrating now and today, we can make it. We can make it. Of course, 2030 is very close. We also have 2050 ahead of us, but it's very urgent to act now and all together, and that is what is you're wonderfully showing today.
Certainly, it is time to act, and we must work together to make it happen. Now, there are many organizations similar to like Ocean Ops. Emanuela, can you tell us about what Ocean Ops is and also its place in the UN system? And can you share about how you're working with the Ocean Race?
Yes, sure. So good morning, everyone, and buongiorno a tutti. Ocean Ops is the operations monitoring and support center for the Global Ocean Observing System. This system is composed by a few hundred satellites and thousands of instruments and ships at sea, who continuously monitor the global ocean and the atmosphere above it to collect essential data that are used by scientists and experts around the world to study climate, improve weather forecast, deliver early warnings, and monitor the ocean health. Ocean Ops is a joint center of two United Nations agencies, the World Meteorological Organization and the Intergovernmental Oceanographic Commission of UNESCO, which represents two historical communities of meteorologists and oceanographers. And as Ocean Ops, as a joint center of these two communities, play a crucial role in connecting them by supporting and expanding global network of marine meteorology and oceanographic observation at sea. This means we help the implementation of the global ocean observing system by collaborating with many different partners, including the Ocean Race. We also monitor and report on the status of the global ocean observing system. We help and support the deployment operations at sea to providing recommendations on where and when to deploy these instruments, so to make it easier. And also we ensure that the data collected flow into global, international, and regional databases, like the Global Telecommunication System of the World Meteorological Organization or the EMONET Physics Aggregator, for example. So this is basically how, since 2015, we have been collaborating with the Ocean Race team in a real win-win situation, as sailors can directly benefit from their contributions. For example, when they deploy a weather buoy at sea, they improve their own weather forecast that they download a few hours later while they are racing. And UNESCO has formalized this collaboration with the Ocean Race in 2021 by signing a partnership agreement with the team.
That's so fantastic. And I know that during this edition of the race, during the longest leg in the Southern Ocean, there were several buoys that were deployed. Why is it important to deploy buoys in that part of the ocean?
Yes, this year each of the 5 MOCA boats deployed 3 weather buoys in the Southern Ocean around Antarctica. And this is very important because we don't have many data from these regions. So these data are really important for us, for scientists.
Lovely. Thank you very much. Now, going back to you, Elisabetta, so Emmanuel already mentioned the importance of vessels of opportunity, like our racing boats here at the Ocean Race. What is their place within what's happening within the mission, the EU mission, and when it comes to the digital twin of the ocean being developed, and how can other sailing events like ours contribute to the mission charter for the future?
Thank you very much, Dani. Indeed, the fleets are a key community to implement our mission. And we think of different fleets. So at national level, for example, yesterday we heard how important are the initiatives, for example, of a Navy and of a Coast Guard, and we are going to support also the networking and the broadening of those activities. Then we have a fisheries fleets, very important ones. We have then very important initiatives like yours and the research vessels who are collecting data but also doing several actions, for example, to reduce pollution and also making our economy, blue economy, more circular and carbon neutral. I would like to give an example, for example, of another initiative, Tara Ocean. It's an example of a research vessel which is actually acting like the Ocean Race, very much in connection with citizens. So they are not acting in isolation. And they are also connecting to a fleet of citizens boats, so the normal boats, and that we would like also to support very much and to extend and amplify, also maybe thanks to the Ocean Race, so to extending the network to all the sailing boats and other boats who are navigating on our seas and oceans and also inner waters, in order to involve them also not only, for example, in the data collection. The digital twin of the ocean is indeed a very important deliverable. So our President, Ursula von der Leyen, announced that we would deliver an EU precursor of a digital twin of the ocean by 2024. So we are very, very close to delivery and working hard on it. And there also we need these joint efforts, like the Ocean Race is contributing also to data collection. And Tara Ocean, for example, is doing it also in connection with a network of normal sailing boats who have small devices to collect data or also to contribute to reduce pollution and collect litters in, as well as fisheries boats as well. So these actually are the fleets and the power of crowd fleets, so all the fleets which go beyond the main vessels. Then we also have, of course, the shipping sector, the cargos, the passengers, lines, and they are very involved in our mission as well. So we have now a charter with more than 500 signatories, among them many fleets. But so all those different fleets, including, I would say, this citizens fleet, it's very important to us, very important to the mission. We have to join forces and we are ready to stand by them and to support them. And we'll look forward to further amplification of these powerful fleets for our ocean.
Fantastic, fantastic. Now, the Ocean Race scientific program that we have within our sustainability Racing with Purpose program, the data that's being collected, as we mentioned already, is very important. And in fact, it's a part of the physics section in the European Marine Observation and Data Network. The short term is it IMODNet? Is that how you say the acronym?
Yes.
Yes. So how can this support the establishment of the blue economy and other blue growth?
Yes, absolutely. So IMODNet is indeed one main player, but it's not the only one. So we are now in this process of establishing or developing this European digital twin of the ocean, or European leg, because then, of course, it needs to be a global initiative, and we will do it in a global way. And it's very important, I would say, here to involve all actors. We just did in Brussels a forum for the digital twin of the ocean last week. We are starting to involve hundreds of projects, but we also want to involve the citizens since the beginning, because this European digital twin of the ocean, it is there to benefit the citizens. It's not just a science initiative. Of course, it has a very strong science behind it, but it is designed to be co-developed, co-created, and with the citizens and for the benefit of the citizens. So this is a main goal, and it is key because we really need to deepen this knowledge of the ocean in order to help to restore the ocean and the health of our planet.
Lovely. Thank you very much. So, Emanuela, we're now in the UN Ocean Decade, right? And there are many sustainable development targets that are set out for 2030. What are the plans for Ocean Ops as a part of the decade? What are you working on now?
So to support the UN Decade for Ocean Science for Sustainable Development and help the implementation of the Global Ocean Observing System, in 2021, Ocean Ops launched the Odyssey project. This project aims to structure and recognize all observing contributions from citizens, including surfers, divers, sailors, mariners, NGOs, fishing shipping companies, and many others, under a well-coordinated project. Every year, we need to deploy at sea about 2,000 autonomous buoys to guarantee the efficiency of the Global Ocean Observing System. And these instruments are often deployed by research vessels, voluntary ships along regular trajectories. So leaving many oceanic regions under-observed as the Southern Ocean, as we have said before. So the collaborations developed under Odyssey allow us to deploy instruments outside of regular shipping lines to fill critical observational gaps in the system and guarantee the sustainability of the global ocean observing networks. But today, we are in the era of global climate change, as we have seen, and more data from all locations are needed. But to collect more data, we need to deploy more instruments, so we need more ships. So that's why our call today under the Odyssey project, addressed to all citizens, sailors, and ocean friends, is come on board and join the Odyssey project, and let's together build a global and robust ocean observing system and support the UN Ocean Decade.
So many people can get involved if they want to.
Absolutely.
If they're a private owner of a vessel, they can also get involved. And how do they go about doing that? What's that process? Do they just go to a website and then sign up, or?
Yes, you can find more information on our website, and I would like to say that the Ocean Race is one great example of contributors to the Odyssey UN Ocean Decade. So keep in touch, and we can work together to find a way to deploy instruments and collect more data, especially in hard-to-reach locations.
That's fabulous, because sometimes it's astounding to think about the fact that we know so little about the ocean at this point in time. Although it covers 70% of our planet, there are many gaps. So to know that people can contribute in a significant way by helping collect data is fantastic. That term, citizen scientist, which is used quite often these days, is real. Whether it's sailors or boat owners or fishermen, fishers, you never know. So that's fantastic. Thank you very much. Now let's move on to ocean rights. Elisabetta, can you explain maybe your opinion regarding the recognition of ocean rights?
think indeed it is key that we have one voice for the ocean and for the ocean rights. The European Union is actually an ocean union, and we are all citizens of one single ocean. So, by the way, the European Union also has a very strong international ocean governance and global approach to the ocean, research and innovation, and beyond. So it is key. We very much welcome the Genova process. We are, of course, as European Commission, very much involved and strongly contributing to the UN Decade of Ocean Sciences, but also of water. By the way, our mission, as we said, is not only seas and oceans, but it's also inland waters. It's the all-connected water system, so it goes even beyond in this blue planet. So it is key. We are very much supporting this process. It's very much needed. And we are looking forward to be there with a voice also of the European Union.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. And as our final question, Emanuela, I'll end it with you. We're also in the UN Decade of Restoration. There are many UN decades going on right now. But the Decade of Restoration, how important is the data being collected under OceanOps, including the Ocean Race data, when it comes to understanding how to restore ocean ecosystem, not just know about it, but how to restore it?
So I would like to answer this question with another question. How can we manage what we do not measure? So ocean data are really the foundation of our knowledge of the state of the ocean, and they are also crucial to generate the science needed to support decision making and also apply ocean and ecosystem restoration and protection actions. As I said before, the ocean today is under threats from climate change, and the Global Ocean Observing Community and the UN Ocean Decade are mobilized together to better understand these changes occurring in the ocean. But to do that, we need high quality data, including the data collected by the Ocean Race crews, like sea surface temperature, sea surface salinity, temperature, oxygen, carbon dioxide, because all these data are then used by scientists, climate weather forecasters, to track the global climate and ocean changes and to develop models to predict the long-term impacts of these changes on the planet, and also to forecast extreme events like marine heat waves, sea level rise, violent storm, all posing damages on the ecosystem and human life. So this is why we are really thankful to the Ocean Race crews for their commitment in ocean data collections. And I would like to conclude saying that if we don't have data, a science-based data underpinning our decisions, we don't have solutions for global climate challenges, and we will not be able to take good decisions for ocean ecosystem restoration and for its sustainable development.
Fantastic. Thank you, Emanuela. Thank you, Elisabetta, for both of you for your brilliance and your contributions to the ocean. We really appreciate you being here today. Please, a round of applause for our panelists.
Thank you.
Thank you. So one way of protecting the ocean is allowing it to be in its own way. A lot of times you'll see the ocean is able to restore itself if it's given time and space. Now, we could also help out in a lot of different ways as human beings to contribute to restoring these places like seagrass beds and coral reefs and kelp forests. Just like we protect on-land national parks, we also need to apply the same concept to the ocean. It's wonderful to hear about local work happening here in Italy, and I see a few familiar faces that were in the video. Thank you for your contributions to the video. Now, when you look at areas like Portofino, I mean, there's so many treasured places across our coastlines around the world that, organizations that work together with their local government to protect that area will make a significant difference. And I think when it comes to science, as we mentioned in the previous panel, that's also critically important, and I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge someone who works behind the scenes a lot here at the Ocean Race, Stefan Raymond. He's the science director for the Ocean Race, and he has been working with the teams directly to gather all the instruments that are brought back to shore, to collect that data, get it to the proper places. So, Stefan, shout out to you. And also there will be an ocean data conference that he'll be speaking at later this afternoon right here in this building. So we're looking forward to that. Now, moving on to something different, a little different than what we've spoken about so far. We're going to talk about innovation now, and what does that mean when we look into the future of our ocean? Here for a fireside chat is an expert who is involved in sophisticated and engaging storytelling about science, art, music, and technology. He's a sustainability strategist as well as the founder of Emissary of Gaia. Please give a warm welcome to Milan Mayberg. Milan, there you are. Hi. Good to see you.
Hi, good to see you.
Welcome. Please have a seat. All right. So, first of all, I have to acknowledge your fit. Your outfit is looking great.
Thank you.
The fashion is on point.
It's a bit future-oriented, I'd say.
Yes,
so, yeah.
definitely. As a fashionista, I can appreciate that.
Thank you.
I love it. So thank you for being here with us today at the Ocean Race Summit. We've had a lot of discussions today about this idea of seeing the ocean as its own living entity, kind of giving it this personhood or anthropomorphizing it. But we need that in order to communicate better about the ocean, to connect with the ocean more. Can you tell us about some of the groundbreaking new ideas and concepts that you know of that are working to protect and restore and regenerate nature?
Yeah, definitely. But first I want to acknowledge the amazing things that have been happening here for the past 3 years. I think it was almost 3 years ago that I had the first talk with the Ocean Race to discuss a few ideas and concepts, and one of the concepts I pitched was quite new at the time, the idea of environmental personhood. And now I didn't think of this idea myself, so I'm not the owner of environmental personhood. And I also pitched the idea of ocean rights together with the agency I work with, and then see how that would progress to the future, right? What if the ocean had rights, and what if those rights could be personified in a character, and take it even one step further into a declaration of ocean rights. So there's a few concepts that are now turning mainstream, I would argue. So environmental personhood is increasingly gaining traction all across the globe. Even recently now in Spain, I believe there is a lagoon, which is the first one in Europe that has now been given environmental personhood status. And
yes, Mar Menor.
yeah,
yes.
exactly. And I thought that was amazing that, and I think it's almost 600,000 people that signed or that supported this concept, which was then signed into law by government. So that goes to show that this concept of environmental personhood is now mainstream, so to speak. And if I look at popular culture as well, have any one of you seen the movie Avatar by chance?
Of course.
Right. The Way of the Water. I think we were all mesmerized by the visuals in that. But also the concept of environmental personhood is given to the entire planet itself, an entity called Ewa, and that people could actually speak to this entity. And now I believe that this is now maybe science fiction, but for how long, right? So I've been working on a few concepts ever since I first talked to the Ocean Race, and one of them is the introduction of environmental artificial intelligence. So you probably, if you haven't heard of artificial intelligence and what's been happening, you've been living under a rock or on a deserted island, I'd argue. So with the rise of artificial intelligence and especially ChatGPT, you can now have whole conversations about just about any subject, including ocean health or ocean rights. So what I've been developing together with a team is to see if we can use artificial intelligence to actually personify the ocean in a visual character that you could interact with. Is that something you could imagine?
It's something I could definitely imagine. And I mean, as you mentioned, in pop culture right now, it is a prominent topic, talking about artificial intelligence. But it is also very controversial, and looking at it as a tool for either good or not good. But I see that it could be used in a positive way to help personify the ocean and give it a chance to speak for itself based on data that we already know.
Exactly, because
Yes.
that's the whole point, right? Because we're all here discussing the ocean, but the biggest absentee is the ocean itself. So what if the ocean could be here to answer questions or to represent itself, right? Wouldn't that change the dialogue? Wouldn't that change the way we interact? Would you have said the same things you said on stage if the ocean was here listening, maybe arguing, not agreeing with you? So by personifying nature and giving it not only a voice or a visual representation or a persona, you can create a whole different kind of connection with nature. And I think that is one of the core problems we face today. It's not climate change. It's the fact that we've lost this connection to nature. And I feel strongly that as a technological species, because that's what we are, we can use AI to personify nature so that we can hopefully better understand nature, get a personal connection with nature, but also get nature to solve our problems. Because let's be quite frank. For the past 50 years, we've been trying to solve environmental problems from a human perspective, and that's not really going as well as planned, I would argue. So, but what if we could ask nature, or the ocean, or maybe the jungle, or the river, or the lagoon to solve our problems? What would happen then? So these are the concepts that I feel are very urgent to explore. And I think that is also the next step, because I think ocean rights is only the beginning. You know, if we were to introduce an environmental artificial intelligence with ocean rights, that AI, maybe in the near future, could declare itself a free agent. It could possibly even say, I emancipate myself. So this is a radical new concept, the emancipation of nature through technology, where nature says, I am no longer yours to be controlled. Now, and these are the ethical implications that we need to discuss, and the representatives here, you are at the forefront, and I've heard Professor Lorenzo say that the rights of nature are now being accredited to a lagoon, right? But what if that lagoon says, okay, I am now my own free person? What would happen then, you know? Would we still defend those rights of nature? Or do we turn off the AI? You know, there's all these sort of new things emerging in the future that I feel we need to discuss now. So, which I think brings me to sort of like the next question.
Yeah, so, but I want to backtrack for a moment, because
That's
this
fine,
might be
yeah.
very far-fetched for some people listening right now,
Yeah.
thinking of AI as an entity that can speak for the ocean.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you break down
Sure.
just the basics about AI, how that works, how the the
Sure.
information contributes, and then we could go from
Okay,
there?
so you have a large language model like ChatGPT. And let's suppose that language model is trained on the data sets from the Ocean Race, from information on Wikipedia, from all the organizations here present, and it could summarize and analyze and quantify all that vast data into packages that it can communicate clearly. It would allow us to talk to the ocean without having to be an expert. And what that would look like, that's the next issue. Because, you know, what would the ocean look like? Would it be a man, a male, a female? Would it be a fish, a crustacean, or something in between, you know? Or is it up to us to decide what the ocean should look like? Or should the ocean tell us what it would look like? So, but you can imagine having the ocean on screen here, maybe interviewing the people present, or you could have a dialogue with the ocean about what was just being said.
Or the ocean could sit on a panel and do a fireside chat like we're doing right now.
Or the ocean can be present during meetings of multinational companies discussing environmental or climate sustainability regulations and policy. Or maybe the mayor could have a personal discussion with the ocean and see if the policy that he has in mind would actually work. So there's countless ways of envisioning how this could possibly work in the future, but it needs to be discussed now.
Yes, we're currently in the ideas phase, but it's also happening very quickly when it comes to AI development.
Yeah. So, and if you can imagine this, it's not just the ocean. It could be the jungle, it could be the Amazon, it could be a desert, it could be your local river. So those 600,000 people that signed that backed the idea for the environmental person of the lake, they can now be activated to act if the lake is under threat. Or the lake could possibly even file its own lawsuit. Can you imagine a lake suing a polluting company, I don't think that is very far-fetched for the future. And then we're talking real protection.
Very interesting point. Time is flying in our
Yes.
conversation, but I really want to make sure we get to this idea of ocean rights and your idea around environmental artificial intelligence, which you've dubbed ENVI, right? ENVI.
Yes.
How does that influence ocean rights and the future of ocean
Well,
rights?
quite frankly, rights have never been, throughout history, rights have never been given. Rights have been fought for. People have died for rights. Emancipation of slavery, equal rights, men and women, you know, struggle was always a part of the oppressed before claiming the rights. So I feel strongly that we shouldn't give the ocean rights. I feel strongly that the ocean should claim its rights. So in a scenario I could envision is that the ocean itself could present the declaration or claim a declaration of ocean rights at the United Nations. And if this seems far-fetched to you, then I'd like to remind you that, you know, we put a man on the moon, you have a universal communicator in your pocket, and, you know, this is being broadcast around the world. So these are just ideas worth exploring. And I'd like to invite you all tomorrow at noon, 12 p.m., to join the workshop, which is being held in the room below us, in the Optimist room, where where I will give a keynote and we'll go into further discussion about the practical applications of ENVI and the ethical implications of the near future. So if this interests you, please join me. And I hope to see as many of you and as many businesses and organizations as possible who are willing to adopt this new vision for the future.
Excellent. And what time is the presentation tomorrow?
It's 12 o'clock.
12 o'clock tomorrow, downstairs in the Optimist room.
Yes.
Okay. Well, if you're interested in this, if this sparked your curiosity, make sure and join Milan tomorrow. Thank you for your insight. This is very interesting. This is the first time we've had a conversation at the Ocean Race Summits about AI. So we really appreciate you taking the time to be here. Thank you, Milan.
Thank you so much.
Now, along with tech innovators for good, industry professionals are also very important. Industry professionals who are in the private sector are critical to the journey of toward ocean rights. So here to talk about the role of the private sector in protecting ocean rights, we have Daniela Pico, who is the Executive Director of the MSC Foundation. Welcome, Daniela. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Honorable guests, friends of the ocean coming from around the world, it's a privilege to address such a distinguished audience today. We are because we embrace the values of the ocean race and we are supportive of efforts to protect the ocean health, or the planet ocean, as called by Antonio Di Natale, and including the principle of the Genova Process. This unique competition highlights the close relationship between sport and nature, as well as the fragility of our oceans and the urgent need to protect and restore them. I will focus my intervention on how the private sector can engage in protecting the blue planet, sharing with you some concrete examples. The MSC Group is one of the world's largest maritime conglomerates today. So we have a big responsibility. Do you agree? But we never forget where we come from, our origins, and that the business depends on thriving oceans. We challenge ourselves, which is why the MSC Group, that is existing since more than 50 years, and its two main divisions, cargo and cruises, are taking concrete steps to reduce their environmental footprint. MSC Cargo is working very hard to achieve low and zero carbon fuels, including biofuels and hydrogen alternative in line with its target to reduce net zero, the decarbonization by 2050. MSC Cruises has just welcomed the two last ships that are LNG-powered vessels, and this in addition to the work we are developing to find alternative fuel pathway. Just an example, MSC Euribia, that is the last cruise ship, is sailing, featuring in the hub the hashtag Save the Sea, has done a world first, the perfect voyage, has done the net zero greenhouse gas emission voyage using bio-LNG. It means that we can do it. This is a big achievement, as you can imagine. And this shows that the net zero could be achieved today. The problem is that the bio and synthetic fuels are not available at the necessary scale. So this is the challenge that we have now to work, because we remain a very long way far from the necessary availability. The no-profit MSC Foundation was established 5 years ago, and we are a leading global corporate philanthropic organization supporting ocean conservation initiative. We use the MSC global reach and the unique knowledge of the sea to protect and nurture our planet and its people. There is a family behind, is the Aponte family, and when there is a family, everything is different, because there is a deep sense of responsibility, and there is a long-term vision. There is really a long-term vision to achieve results for future generation, for the children and the children of the children. I will now share some concrete efforts that we have done on coral conservation and restoration. And that is a concrete example that shows the link between environmental action and economic benefit. First of all, we believe that it's very, very important that the private sector is involved directly in conservation actions. And this has to be long-term, has to be a win-win situation. It means that it's vital that we demonstrate that these actions has to drive long-term financial sustainability. If there is not a financial sustainability, there is not a win-win situation. The example I want to share with you is the island in Ocean Key. We turned an abandoned island that was a degraded industrial site into a marine reserve in the Bahamas. Our work in Ocean Key, seeing us join forces with the government of Bahamas, leading universities, marine scientists, biologists, and conservationists. Here we engage in coral research because we are looking to find the coral genotype that is able to live in condition of climate change. And this for a double objective. First, because we have to protect the coral reef in Ocean Key. And the second, because we want to share our finds with all the scientific part around the world. In addition, we are building the MSC Marine Foundation Center, the Conservation Center, in partnership with the 2 leading universities where we study corals. We allow visitors to learn about coral reef and the importance of the coral for the ocean. And because I think that many of you know that coral are very, very important for the health of the ocean. And there is a concrete danger to die, the corals die between 2030 and 2050. The 70 or 90% of coral are in danger. Here we have Carl Gustav Lundin, member of the advisory board. If later on you want to ask some question, is one of the leader expert in climate change. So by ensuring in Ocean Key to have this fantastic reef, we are also ensuring there is a viability of the ocean, because we really think that people will continue to join Ocean Key. And so this is an example of sustainable tourism with a long-term vision. Ocean Key has been recognized by the Bahamian government as an area of high biological productivity and biodiversity, and so has been recommended for a marine reserve status. In addition, we are going to launch in the next days, has been recognized by Dr. Sylvia Earle as a hotspot. They are more than 150 around the world. It means that it is a critical place for the health of the ocean. So this is a perfect example of how a private sector can do a synergy and to build a sustainable economy and a sustainable tourism. Another example, a concrete example, we are providing a cruise ship And this is linked also what we heard before from Manuela. And to collect is an organization called the Naturmetrics. They collect water on board the cruise ship, the sample of DNA on DNA to do some mapping and the assessment of marine species, and this is to fighting for to the loss and the danger of the biodiversity. And again, we also support the ocean science, the IUCN, for the red list for the assessment of all the corals around the world. Last couple of thoughts that I want to share with you. We are constantly engaged in building partnership and this to stimulate the dialogue, as what you are doing here today, I think, is a great and incredible results. And we never miss an opportunity also to engage in sea education, and this we do on board the cruise ship, and we reach out more 3 or 4 million of guests every year, and to do sea education, and also students with Mare Vivo, that is an Italian NGO that we provide education for secondary, middle school, and primary school. Because, to conclude, we of course challenge ourselves. We have a big responsibility because we are one of the biggest groups in the world that we use the ocean. We have a shared responsibility to build a sustainable future, and I would like to end with the word of the quote of the founder, Mr. Aponte. We all have the duty to leave a better world for future generations, and our mission is to restore the critical balance between people and nature within a generation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Daniela. It's wonderful to hear what MSC Foundation is doing here, as well as in the Bahamas. And I'd love to speak to you after. I have family and colleagues in the Bahamas, so that'd be great. Plus, your skirt looked beautiful up here flowing. It looked like water. It's perfect. So good news, we just got word that one of the teams are en route. In fact, they're less than 7 miles away. If you look through the window, you can see Team Malizia is on their way in. The timing is perfect because it was Team Yayo first? Oh, okay, we were just looking at the tracker. Anyway, it's Malizia. It's Malizia, we got a thumbs up, Malizia. But the timing is perfect because we're just wrapping up. We just have a few more speakers, and then we'll be able to enjoy a light lunch together on the patio, and you'll be able to view the arrivals. As we collectively think about new solutions for a more sustainable future, it's also vital that we have the next generation of change makers involved in that conversation and the decision-making process. So here to share more about the importance of including diverse youth voices in conversations about the future of ocean health, please help me welcome Mohamed Marai El-Shiki from Youth for Climate. Welcome, Mohamed. Good to see you. Thank you for being here.
Good morning, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished leaders. I stand here before you as a catalyst of change. I bring to you a message not just in words, but comes from our depth of souls. It's a message of motivation, creativity, and empowering the world. First and foremost, let's recognize the incredible work of the young leaders leading climate action. And here, Youth for Climate is a global community of young leaders supported by UNDP and the Italian Minister of Environment. The Youth for Climate has invited participants to submit a solution and call that has been overwhelming for us, as we received almost 1,000 applicants. The selected applicant will be presented during the Youth for Climate flagship event, Sparking Solutions, that will be held in Rome this October. And I believe in the second call, we will have a funding window solely will be focusing on oceans and water conservation projects. In the face of impending crisis, the youth have risen like a tidal wave, unstoppable and determined. We refuse to be a mere spectator of world hurtling toward its demise. We have embraced the call of oceans for their survival and survival of our own. Imagine, if you will, the vastness of the ocean, a realm of unfathomable beauty and wonder. It's the cradle of life and the guardian of our climate. It's the beating heart of our planet. But it's spurred, besieged by the relentless of a human march, greed and indifference. I stand here today, my heart twinned with the rhythm of waves, sharing with you my stories of personal journey. I have dived into the depth of despair, witnessing the heartbreaking consequence of our actions. Yet amidst the darkness, I have found a fleck of hope, a hope that lays within the determination of youth, a hope that originates the creativity within the fire within us. Our minds becomes the tool for transformations, shaping a future where technology and environmental harmony work hand in hand. It's within our power to protect the prestigious ecosystem of the ocean, including the deep sea habitats. But creative solutions and technology alone, it's not enough. We need an action, and we need the action now. And for that, I issue a resounding call to all Italian and world leaders, beckon them to raise to the occasion we have. The time for empty promises and half-hearted commitment is over. We demand a bold action that matches the magnitude of the crisis at hand. Together, let us embrace the concept of ocean rights, an acknowledgement that ocean is not a mere resource for us, but a living entity deserving a legal protection. In addition of the law of seas and the newly agreement high sea treaties, that for sure will be a good point that we arrive to here, but this will take a lot of time to take in force and be in the implementation process. And for that, it's our responsibility to support and advocate for such measures to safeguard and the health of our oceans and our planet. I urge the world leaders, and not just the world leaders, but all of us, every person of us, to support the Universal Declaration of Ocean Rights. This rights and this declaration aims to create a shared vision of positive human-ocean relation and grant an ocean voice within a multinational agreement and system. Today, I urge you all to join force with youth. Let our motivation be unwavering, our creativity be boundless, and our power be unlimited. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Youth for Climate Champion Mohammed. We appreciate you being here, and we definitely reflect those same sentiments of a new chapter as we move forward. Now, when we're finishing up, everybody. We're doing great. Here to give our closing speech for the day is RAI journalist and TV personality Donatella Bianchi. Let's give a warm welcome to Donatella. Hello, good to see you. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you. It's really a big pleasure to stay on stage with you, Danny. Thank you so much. I'm a sea reporter. I'm the captain of Blue Line. This is the name of my broadcast. Blue Line, Linea Blu in Italian, is the first Italian television broadcast dedicated to the Mediterranean Sea. Born exactly here in Genoa in 1994. I've been also the past president of the WWF Italy, and I'm currently the president of Cinque Terre National Park and ambassador of Genoa in the world. Proud of this. So thanks for this special time for me, and I'm very happy to be here with you today. 30 years ago, when we started the journey of Linea Blu, our sea was different. I remember very well a lot of fish, beautiful beach. Now we have plastic everywhere. We won't have to wait until 2050 to see more plastic than fish in the sea. At the moment, we are currently working with the main scientists like Tony Di Natale. Thank you very much, Tony, for this special time. To explain people how much Mediterranean Sea is wonderful but fragile. If you want have a look next Saturday on the first channel of Italian television at 2 o'clock, there is Linea Blu, Blue Line. Every Saturday we show marine stories, underwater film, interview to involve people. I think that complex challenges require brave collective responses. What happened in the blue planet? The sea is rising as never before. It's getting warmer. It's too noisy for whale, dolphin, turtle, and it's really full of plastic and ghost nets pollution. What's happening to the oceans will affect everyone. We have changed the planet, and this will change our lives. We must be aware of the risks and solutions. Ocean Race today offers us an historic opportunity. To work together for the sea, to write the most important paper for the future of ocean and people together and now. I discovered the beauty of the depth, looking the word of silence. Do you remember? Jacques Cousteau. With him, a lot of people understood that the ocean is not a surface, but a volume, a wonderful place to explore. I had the chance to interview for my broadcast, the great Sylvia Earle. She told me to think not just in terms of hot spots, but about hope spot. Take care and doesn't lose hope, wrote Pope Francis in his encyclical Laudato Si. We need the voice of special people like him, like them, to save the planet, our planet. Today we are finally working for the rights of the ocean. Finally, there is no good wind sorry for my English, for the sailor who doesn't know where to go, wrote 2,000 years ago Seneca, a philosopher from ancient Rome. People of Ocean Race know very well where they are going. In this case, the route is clear. The first universal declaration for the rights of the ocean is related to others' human rights. The right not to die in the middle of the sea. The right to have good food from the ocean. The right for health and also security and economics right. The ocean can no longer be absent in the lives of young people, in political debates, in economic choices. But we need a global action, and this is the way. Ocean Race create Ocean Generation, sailing around the world with a mission, save the nature. Speaking about sport and protection, il pianeta è l'unico azionista a cui rendiamo conto. The planet is the only stakeholder we answer to, wrote Richard Bruces. Thank you, Richard. We are living in Anthropocene. We have changed the planet in the last 2 centuries, both land and sea. We have lost nature, animals, plants. Today we know how climate change has already transformed some of the most important marine ecosystems, not just in the Mediterranean Sea. not just storytelling or meeting like this, but a really call to action. This is Ocean Race. Really, really thanks. There is also a good news. Today, a lot of people spend time and money to help marine animals. Young people choose blue jobs, and a lot of protected areas have been created. I believe in citizen science, and as president of WWF in Italy, I wanted a strong campaign from the sea. I have created communities of divers, invested in training, connect marine protected area. I understood that for complex challenge like plastic pollution, we need to reach many, many people and involve important and well-known people in this challenge, like singer, like Lorenzo Giovanotti for plastic 2 years ago. This is what Ocean Race is doing. Today in Italy, the Constitution recognizes the environment among the principles. Today we have a law, the Salva Mare, Save the Sea, which encourages everyone, including fishermen, to take care of the sea, but is not enough. With my team of Cinque Terre National Park and Marine Protected Area, we preserve biodiversity and special habitats, working with the teams of other MPA, like Portofino. We are an integral part of Pelagine Sanctuarios, il Santuario Pelagos, the most important reserve for conservation of marine mammals. It's not simple, say no, introduce rules. We need to change our economic point of view, based a new economic point of view on circular economy without impact, human impact. I'm a journalist, but I'm not just a journalist. All of us in our daily commitment can do something, can make the difference. The ocean is always a great mystery and is our life insurance. This is the point. What you need? Investment in science and research for nature-based solutions like restoring. More marine protected areas. A new storytelling about the planet, talking to everyone, a strong call to action for people to respect the ocean's rights. International agreements are needed, combining the climate and ocean finance agendas. And greater ambition and fast implement stronger and longer term mitigation action with a specific commitment and not just promises from all the countries around the world. We need to make nature a key element of the solution and put people at the center. This is the only way. I'm happy that this process starts from here, from Genova, and has a goal from 2030. Only in this way we can imagine the future of the oceans and the future of the generation to come. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Donatella. Thank you for being a strong advocate for the ocean here in Italy and amplifying stories about ocean health. We definitely need that going forward. Before you came out, I have to apologize. I got a little distracted because commotion is happening now. Richard confirmed that Team Yayo is here arriving in second place in the VO65 class, and behind them is Team Malizia coming in first in the IMOCA class. So very exciting. We're about to have some fun on the patio. So before we go, this is officially the close. I'm just so grateful to have served as a host during this edition of the race. It truly has meant so much to me. It's the honor of a lifetime. So thank you, Richard. Thank you to the entire Ocean Race team. As we prepare for what's next beyond the race, beyond what we're currently experiencing, I think it's important to recognize also that we're here in Genova, that is a city with the ocean at its core. And so again, we appreciate Genova on all the hospitality. And as we prepare to close, we're going to have Johan, the Ocean Race Summits and Ocean Policy Director, alongside Lucy Hunt, who is our Senior Advisor for the Ocean Race Summits and Learning Program, and the Head of Content for the Summits. And they'll give us our final wrap-up, and then we'll say our thank yous and we'll have lunch. So, Lucy, Johan, what a fantastic journey we've been on, right?
Yes, absolutely. Indeed. What a fantastic day, what a fantastic summit. But the fantastic stuff has not only happened in here, as we heard. I mean, we have timed this summit. We planned it for more than a year. in order for the boat to arrive exactly when we are closing the summit. And we have also planned it so that we will have, yes. And we also planned it that we will have the start of the Legends Regatta. So the representatives of 50 years of ocean racing is just now making its way out here for an import raid. So all this adding to an amazing day, Lucy.
Yes, a brilliant day. We've heard fantastic speakers share their insights, support ocean rights, and it's just been really amazing. So a big thank you from all of us for you speaking here today and showing your support for ocean rights.
And we have 3 strong takeaways from today's summit. So we'll start that. First, we have all been talking about this fantastic and dynamic and ambitious city of Genova, hosting the grand finale, being the finished port of the ocean race after a grueling 6 months race for the IMOCAs out on the ocean around the world. But this is in no way the end. This is also a starting point. In March last year, experts from around the world in international law, diplomacy, ocean science, sports, politics, and a lot other disciplines gathered to kick off the drafting of principles underpinning ocean rights towards a universal declaration of ocean rights. This is what you heard it many times now, the Genova Process. And today, as the 7th mayor, Marco Bucci, really kicked off this process towards New York in September when we will present those principles to the United Nations.
Second, the example of the marine protected area just less than an hour away from here in Portofino, a beautiful place. And it surrounds the waters of the Portofino promontory and peninsula. And it's another example of how teamwork is so important. There you've brought scientists, entrepreneurs, the local government all together, as well as business, ecotourism with Zagele, there, and they're working together to safeguard this place, to create a sanctuary that not only helps that area, but helps areas beyond it as well, and helps the people beyond that area. So together with the Sea Trees Project, we've learned that giving the ocean a chance is crucial. It's so important. We have to realize that the ocean is our hero on this planet, and it can regenerate it can regenerate if we just allow it to.
And third, we have learned about the moonshot that the EU is sending off, the restoring our ocean and waters. That is yet another great example of teamwork. It's teamwork between disciplines, between countries, between institutions, and all of that to find solutions for the ocean and build knowledge and understanding for the ocean based on a charter that we in the Ocean Race is so proud to be part of.
Yes, it's fantastic to be part of this charter with the Mission Ocean, with the EU, and the bold ambition that it encompasses. And we're excited by the impact of the MPAs and sea trees that it can have. And, of course, we're very grateful for the city's support for ocean rights. This is the 19th summit since 2015. We have organized them for 8 years now around the world, and the Ocean Race Summits have been the global sporting platform sharing ocean solutions, ocean action, and most importantly, announcements for action.
And over those last 8 years, we have learned also yet a few more things. And you heard the word teamwork. We have learned the crucial importance to work as a team that embraces all, a team that, as Kirecho, the Secretary of Environmental and Indigenous Territorial Rights at the Ministry of Indigenous People in Brazil told us at our summit in Itajaí, we cannot see the nature as something else, as something separate, but the nature as a whole, including us. A team with the nature that sees each of us as potential advocates for the ocean. This is also the spirit of ocean racing. When Charlie, the skipper of 11th Hour Racing, came ashore in The Hague after having been hit badly, accidentally, but really badly by another team, having to repair their boats, he turned it to the skipper of the other boat with a hug. Even if we are exposed to people making mistakes, we still need to be in the same team. For the good, for the ocean, and to use the words of the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres at our summit in Capo Verde, working as one, it is a race we can win. You know, elite athletes, as the sailors come in right now, or any elite athlete in any sport, they don't start with that perspective at the starting lines. They start with the perspective, this is a race we will win. And that is the perspectives that we have to take for the race for the ocean. That is the race we will win.
Another lesson, never rest. When it comes to the ocean, we have to keep pushing. We heard it in the videos from the sailors. We have to keep pushing. We have to take inspiration from the unwavering motivation of the youth. And always there's more steps to be taken. Even with all the people that we've met, the solutions we've heard, and the announcements and presentations made throughout these summits, we still have a long way to go. We need to, just as the ocean racers push all the way to the finish line, we need to keep pushing for the ocean. We have goals set for 2030, but let's push harder and achieve the best we can as soon as we can.
Use your platform. Speak up for the ocean. As Ursula von der Leyen said at our Europe Summit, although the ocean can produce a mighty roar as its waves crash onto our shores, it has no voice in the public debate. This is why it's so important that we give the voice it deserves. And the Ocean Race and our partners, we are an ideal platform. You heard it from many, and we will continue to speak for the ocean.
And we need everyone to do the same. We ask you to use whatever platform you have, whether it's art, science, communications, business, industry, to get on board and stand up and speak up for the ocean. On September the 18th, we'll speak to the members of the United Nations and we'll speak out for ocean rights, together with the government of Cabo Verde, the UNDP, 11th Hour Racing, and the Earth Law Center.
We are the ocean. The ocean is us. That is the title of the document outlining principles underpinning ocean rights. That will be presented during the General Assembly in the Ocean Race Summit. We will give the arguments, and we will also tell that we have a large backing of the supporters in the One Blue Voice campaign, 30,000 now, hopefully many more by the time we come to New York. We see that citizens around the world are calling for a change, and we will take clear steps towards the Universal Declaration of Ocean Rights.
Indeed, indeed we will. So we ask all of you to come on board, join our team for ocean rights.